All right, great, welcome back. So now we're going to talk about locus. Now locus is important, right? This is where you try to assign root causes to shift blame, and this is where this whole thing with the stakeholder model really comes into play, okay? So, what winds up happening anytime you're accused of something, especially during a crisis, is you've got to figure out where the blame actually lies, right? And the whole point of locus is you can say that you accept some of the blame, but other parts of that blame lie with someone else. And this is exactly what Jack in the Box did. So first of all, they say, hey, we're being accused of our franchisees not taking the proper protective measures, i.e., which could be employees or owners. Our franchisees are being accused of not having that grill hot enough, and they're not taking that spatula and they're not pressing it down as hard as they should. That's what we're being accused of. Okay? However, they point out that, first of all, look at Vaughn's, their meat supplier. Vaughn's gave us unsanitary beef, and we were horrified when we found out that they gave us meat that was not fit for human consumption. It was all Vaughn's fault. Yeah, maybe we didn't do our job, keeping that grill hot enough and pressing that patty down. And by the way, one time when I was on a truck stop in France, I asked for a hamburger patty, and the dude reached into a bloody bucket with a hamburger patty in his hand, and then he pressed it on the grill with his bare hand. It was gross. But anyhow, it's a good example of what can happen sometimes in restaurants. So they said, no, had they given us clean beef, it wouldn't have mattered what our franchisees would have done. Right? The meat would have still been safe because there had been no contaminants. And then they said, and furthermore, why didn't the FDA inspect that? Why did they catch it before it went to Vaughn's, before it came to us? This is all their fault. We didn't have anything to do with that. Maybe a convincing argument. But you got to think about this, and this is where Jack in the Box got into trouble. They privileged their internal stakeholders. They were trying to protect their franchisees and their franchisors at the cost of the customer, and furthermore they shifted blame to suppliers and to the government officials. So by refusing to accept the blame, customers didn't necessarily get a warm and fuzzy feeling that Jack in the Box had taken necessary measures to fix what had been solved. Sometimes I think about it, maybe they'd just been better off saying, you know what, we messed up, we're going to fix this. We're going to fix our procedures. Vaughn's does Vaughn's, the FDA, whatever. We're going to make sure that on our end everything is perfect to make up for any of these kinds of future shortfalls. And I think people would have felt good about going back to Jack in the Box right away, but instead they didn't. They put the blame on other people who did not accept the blame either. Nobody took any responsibility for harming customers, and it was ultimately Jack in the Box corporate that was hurt, but more importantly, it was the franchisees and the franchisees or the franchise owners. And that's something that you've got to consider when you're considering buying a franchise. Whatever the corporate communication is, that's going to have impacts on you as well. Great. So in the last video, we'll talk a little bit about applications. Hope you like this video. Give me a likes if you like it. Subscribe down below and comment if you have any questions. Great. I'll see you in the next video.